Hey guys, Chris with Talking Through the Medias, and I'm gonna give a hopefully a very quick recap of Orange is the New Black season 4. I just wrapped it up. It premiered on Friday, June 17th, and it is now Saturday morning, and I've just knocked out the whole season. And I gotta say, it was the best one. This is my first time recapping or reviewing the show. I'm a big fan of it. I like the first season. Second and third seasons were pretty good, but I gotta say, by far, this was the best, the strongest, the very well executed season. And I'm gonna go off on just let me start off one by one. First off, Piper, the star. I like the way that the season started off. Her thinking that she was some kind of a big time boss or some kind of a big shot after what happened in the last season, and then when people start to check her and let her know, remind her that she's not as tough as she thinks she is, and she was starting to really feel herself a little too much. Then she started to invoke a little back up. It turned into a big mess where the it just got very racial, and she invokes the help of the white inmates, and it just turns into this white power problem. And um, it was pretty much between the that group and the Hispanic group, since there was an influx of new inmates that were brought to the prison. Now the minority has become the super majority, the Hispanic girls. And at first I thought there was going to be a problem with that, because at first it seemed like, and I called it right at the beginning. So you had the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, the Cubans, the Mexicans. They were all together, and they thought, hey, we're a group now. We're the Spanish speaking majority now. They can't mess with us. But then I thought, well, you know what? I don't think they're gonna get along within themselves. And then it started to be a problem at first, but they didn't. They decided not to go deep into that. Um, oh man, it's too much happened. So dealing with that part of it, Maria, played by um, Jessica Pimento, um, had to check Piper, and after they had their back and forth, and Piper, when she finally got taken down that peg, and she had a swastika branded on her arm. That was a heavy moment right there. I realized at that moment I was waiting for a couple episodes to go down where Piper would get knocked off that little pedestal, but I didn't think it was gonna go that far, and it reminded her quick. It for the first time felt like this is the season where Piper, she she's broken down and let the prison get to her before, but this season it really hit her, man. She does not want to be there. It's hell. I was worried that this show was starting to become like Weeds and just become too fantastic and just stupid, but this was gritty. Um, Alex. Uh, Alex was going through a little drama dealing with the fact that she had to kill a fake inmate who was there to kill her, and it felt like she was breaking down because she was going through that drama. Her and Lori Petty, Lolly, that back and forth and dealing with Lolly's crazy ass was really interesting. Then you saw that the way she was in prison was very messed up and heartbreaking. That it was just a mental illness. It just really people look down on it, and they don't treat them like human beings, and people get misdiagnosed, mistreated, and then in prison. Um, but that storyline, that arc was pretty deep as well, and you will enjoy it. If you don't know by now, this is full spoiler. So if you haven't seen it, stop this right now and don't watch any further. Um, Nikki, female prison guard, that molested her. That storyline finally wrapped up. Um, it was back and forth. You didn't know what was going to happen with those with them, and um, she finally learned peace. She finally learned forgiveness. He finally wised up and learned how to be earnest and sincere with his struggle and his apology after what he did to her. Um, Tiffany. Um, I'm sorry. That was with Tiffany. Nikki was the one that was dealing with. You learned that in the prison that the even the female guards were messed up. There was a brand new flow of guards that was changing everything and just making everything crazy and worse. And these guys from these maximum prison systems are bringing their BS to this system. It was just causing this whole power struggle and messing everything up. I'm so I apologize, guys. I'm kind of out of it. Let me just move on. Sophie, I'm trying to read the rest of it. Sophie, she was rarely seen because she was still in isolation. But finally, at the end of the season, finally was able to get out. I'm thinking about no because I think the actress herself was getting as busy and whatnot. They kind of doubt a lot of the key characters down a little bit to make way for these new characters. I don't know how many more seasons there's going to be, um, uh, but she finally got out of isolation, which was good thanks to Caputo, the warden, and that's transition to him. The warden is being played by his brand new girlfriend, this corporate leech that named Linda, and I thought his first little tryst was bad with that former that past warden, but she turns out to be way better. They deserve each other. Um, the person Beth Dover as playing Linda, she's just a manipulator and turning the prison upside down. Woman has never even been in a prison before and been working for these things for years, and using sex to get her get come up in the world, and it's like a known thing. She's a very bad character, and hopefully she'll get what she deserves in the coming season. Um, Cindy, after converting, she's dealing with a new inmate who's Muslim, and that dynamic is pretty funny. That back and forth with them two uh, was fun. Was very very funny. Them playing pranks on each other and just going at it, and they found peace. So peace was made. Overall they figured out they had more in common than they had against each other. Moving on. What's the next person? Brooke and let me see if I can read this. Brooke and Posey uh, in a relationship. Brooke, I could not stand her, but this is the first season I liked her, and she changed, she grew, um, and Posey was just Posey, Poussey, sorry, Poussey, and the coming of Judy King. She was a metaphor for Martha Stewart and Paula Dean, a mix between those two. Martha Stewart for actually getting into prison, Paula Dean for her racist self, and just using the whole it was another time excuse and just craziness and just it was funny until it wasn't, and the reason why I'm not saying it wasn't entertaining, I'm just saying that it was her character was funny and entertaining until she was like, all right, you're dangerous, you're one of those racists that just you think you're fooling people into thinking that you're not racist and that you're you're like like Furman from the O.J. Simpson trial. You think you're fooling people, but no, you're not fooling anybody. And the bad thing about it is you don't see it. You think by saying I have black friends or I've hired a lot of minorities or whatever you got to say to yourself, and it was the '80s. That was one of her funniest lines was everybody was stupid in the '80s. It was the '80s. I didn't mean this to talk about that chicken and watermelon. It was the '80s. That was funny though. Towards the end, craziness with the guards, the new guards that were in this. Man, with the main prison guard being just this big mountain of a man who just for some weird reason just was overcompensated and just too brutal. He seemed to have a Napoleon complex, but and for no reason. Then he comes out that he's openly gay too, and then you're like, okay, now it brings more dimension into his character. At first, he just seemed like a two-dimensional character, but then when he was like, "Oh, hey, you bark with the," because Piper, she always has to flirt a little bit. But he was like, "Hey," his best line was, "Hey, you barking up the wrong tree." Yeah, and he's not into girls, so that bat in the eyes thing wasn't gonna work. But so he became much more of an interesting character, but in the end was still a dick, and I don't know what's gonna happen with this because towards the end the worst thing in the world that could happen with Poussey. She was killed during a non-violent protest that just got out of hand, and one of the innocent guards from the one of the new guards just he was dealing with Crazy Eyes, and then Pusey tried to interfere to try to calm Crazy Eyes down. But in the middle of the commotion, he doesn't know what she's trying to do, so he has to take her down, knee on her back, and suffocating her until she dies. And I was thinking, damn, man, she's one of the one characters you just that's a good person in general, and right when you're thinking that she's got a future, and they it's a shock, man. It was like a Game of Thrones death. It's like you never saw. I didn't see it coming until the knee went to the back, and then I realized he's not getting up. He was trying to deal with Crazy Eyes while still holding this woman down, and it's all obviously it's the metaphor for also what recently has been happening in the news and whatnot. So it's a lot of things that's happening. Just trying to make people aware. Um, they got into the Black Lives Matter, and when you think that the race wars, the fights between themselves and everything is gonna get hit the fan towards the end, when they cut when at the end when you think Capullo's gonna do the right thing, and he looks like he's gonna just tell the truth and not do the corporate thing, but no, in the end he covers for the guy, even though he is not 100. He didn't mean to kill her, but he still was negligent, and it was like, no, we don't care. We're gonna try to cover up for him. And the girls, all of them, all the prisoners just go mad, and they take arms and they take over the prison. And one of the crazy ass guards that snuck a gun into the prison, he gets his gun taken away from him, and now he's being held. So it looks like there's definitely gonna be a season 5. I cannot wait for it. Will the whole season be a prison takeover? Like with I hope it will be. I hope the whole season will be 13 episodes of the inmates running the asylum. Now, and then that should be the end of the season. That would not a series. That would be a great, ending to this whole thing. Um, it was a great season, man. I couldn't. I know I'm staying up, and I gotta work, and I know I'm messing my sleep up, but I had to get this out. I had to let you guys know what I thought about it. It was a great season. I want to know what you guys think, man. If you haven't, you should not have watched this if you haven't seen it all yet. Go check it out. If you binged it like I did, you killed that whole season in a day. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Did you think this was the? I think this was the best season that they've had. So, great show, and sorry to see one of my favorite characters leave, but I'm happy to see the new direction that it's going. It's shaking it up really well. So I want to know what you guys think, or what you guys thought after binging this one. And let's keep talking, guys. Send me a comment, hit the subscribe button, and until let's now after this video is done, let's start talking about it some more. What do you guys think is going to happen next season? Um, will it be the last season? I think it will be, and it might be an interesting way to knock it out. Till next time, guys.